John Wilshire gets himself set. Now in the hands of the referee, and he blows time on, and Wilshire puts right foot to ball. It's going to come down inside the Cooks in goal, picked up by Ford, and then he immediately looks for a runner to come through and take the work off him. And in the end, they end up on the 20-metre line on the kick return. Back towards midfield again. And the first penalty of the second half going to the Cook Islands. And in the end, they're going to end up playing the football on the 10 again as they come forward. And there's a hard hit that's come across the head region.
Mark Sapiens, that was Menzies again. His hard, his strongest physical, and he's revved up for the second half.
Yeah, but the referee has penalized him here. Good job, Messi here for the Kumuk. They'll have to watch themselves. We spoke about them being fired up in the second half, trying to wrap this game up. But they've also got to do it the right way. I don't think there was too much wrong in that tackle, as we can see there. It was just an unfortunate head clash.
So a round of applause being given. And he goes to ground on halfway. 5 tackles gone again now for the Cook Islands. They work it across now to Ford. Ford puts right foot to ball. One bounce and then into the hands of Richard Cumbo. And Cumbo winds himself up and then works his way back up. Beautiful ball back into Anton Kui. And Kui put to ground 8 metres away. And there's a penalty going to the Kummels. Things getting a little bit heated out on the paddock now.
Yeah, Keith Peters sprinting in there, but I don't think that was really necessary. How did you see that, Steve?
Yeah, there was a swinging arm there from Fred Makimari. After he defected the tackle, the player went to the deck and it came with a big stiff right arm. But just an update on the injury. It is Anthony Jelling, the number 4 that's been... he's gone to the hospital for precautionary x-rays and he's put on a neck brace also as a precaution, and his substitution in actual fact was Fred Makimari. So the Cook Islanders are fired up.
You got the one down there.
I'm not sure about the retaliation of the Kummels as Makimari gets put on report, but Keith Peters, he's got to watch himself there. He could have easily got that penalty turned around.
David Mead will use the breeze and look for touch on the far side of the paddock. Just making sure of it. 35 metres away.
Rodney Porro and James Nightingale back on the park for the Kummels.
Now the Kummels, 32 metres away. Wabo. Back in field again to James Nightingale, who hits and they put him to ground. 29 out. Wabo from dummy half, sneaks through and they pull him back by the jersey again. And now 8 metres away from the Cook Islands line. To the left, the Kummels working through Rodney Pora. Then across field to Ayer. He holds up the football, then sends it to Menzies, who dives over.
Throws it out to Rodney Pora, who in turn finds Ayer. It's a nice little show and go here. He sums up the situation with a nice flood pass to Menzies on the left-hand side.
Back in field again now to Yere. Yere goes forward, takes the hit and takes him on as well. And then now he's put to ground. 5 tackles gone.
A lot of feeling in that tackle.
37 metres away. Wabo across field again to Peters. He steps inside one attempted defender, then puts the kick through the gap, and it's a bounced end over, and in the end it's a horrible bounce for the Cooks, but they managed to clean up inside the in-goal area, run it back out into the field of play. So great work there by Lulia, and he manages to take play to 5 out from his own line. From dummy half, they work it forward again. Up to 10 out from their line, the Cooks. Midfield region again, edge of the ruck. They keep testing the Kummels edge with Keith Lulia now. And then the short side. Far side of the paddock, they keep the football moving.
Play on! 4 now! Move!
12 away from halfway, they play the football. Back in field again. Holding up the football, a couple of metres away from halfway. Out the back door, they manage to keep it alive to Glassy, and Glassy straight up over the halfway mark. He keeps it alive to Ford. Ford flicks one out the back door. It's gone to ground, and in the end, Wilshire read that well. He came through and shut down what could have been a dangerous situation for the Kummels, and taking the tackle, Makimari will play it. Now the short side. Ford, kick came off the side of his boot. He's had 2 attempts at it. Wilshire finally ends up with the second kick, and Wilshire takes the tackle. 28 out from the Kummels line.
I feel for Ford. The idea was right, coming on the short side and looking for that little chip away. But it puts in David Mead.
Hold the phone, here goes David Mead. Up the midfield region, 1 man to beat, sizes him up and runs around him. And he's going to put it down underneath the uprights for good measure. Oh, how good is this bloke? Try number 3 for David Mead.
Oh, we said there's a touch of Vinny Slater about him. and he just pummeled himself straight into that line. We said he doesn't mind the hit up. Look at this, breaking through, busting through tackles of the bigger guys, and he comes, look at this one-on-one battle. Beautiful to watch. He just tightens up the situation, stands his opposite up and says, see you later, alligator. And that's it, David Mead under the post. That's his hat trick. And I know there'll be a lot of kids who are excited about David Mead scoring tries. He's pretty to watch, brilliant to watch.
The Kumuls work it through Richard Cambo, and Cambo
One. Move. Marcus
works
gets
it
one
forward.
there.
They work it through again out of their red zone. And then the strip. And there's the penalty going to the Kumuls. David Fairley, not a happy man.
This is what the doctor ordered for the Kumuls.
In midfield again, Aston. Across to his right, one dummy, then a cutout ball to Peters, then Mead joins in the line again, and here goes Mead. He holds up the football, but they chop his legs from under him, and 26 metres away from the Cooks, they'll play the football, the Kumuls. Wabo to the right-hand flank, infield ball to Cambo, and Cambo bumps off one attempt to tackle. He'll go all the way and put the football down as he does for another Kumul try. Richard Cambo.
You see Jay Aston coming down the right-hand flank, and he finds that man, Charlie Wabo, who sums up the situation with an inside pass, and Cambo with a big no thanks, don't argue, and it was just academic at the end of it. See you later, fullback, and I'll just do a little bit of a dance here, and I'll put the ball down for another Kumul 4-pointer. The score 36 points. The PNG Kumuls leading the Cook Islanders on 10 points.
This Chan works towards midfield again, safer territory, edge of the ruck, goes through, tried to burrow his way through, and made it easy for the tacklers. They pushed his head down. Aston, long ball across field to Peters. Peters onto Wabo. Wabo, two grabs at it, and then the long ball across field to Anton Kui out wide. Kui came back infield, slipped over, and they claimed him. 5 tackles gone on the Cook Islands 30-metre line. Couple of metres in from touch, far side of the paddock. Back towards midfield now. Peters, here's the bomb. It's going to come down, 10 out, maybe 5 out on the line. But Tikanau is underneath it. He manages to pick it up and ground it. And I don't know whether he picked it up in the field of play or they took him back in. But the penalty is going to the Cook Islands. Well, the referee's claiming that he was in the field of play and they picked him up and took him back again after the tackle was complete.
Mark Kanapi, I tell you, one player out there that's been absolutely outstanding today. He's tackled himself, he's ran himself into the ground, just absolutely to a standstill. Has been Rodney Pora. He's standing there, head on him. He doesn't want to come off the paddock though.
So back towards the far side of the paddock again. The Cook Islands work the football.
Funny, they take a kick after a penalty.
Edge of the ruck. Looking for some tired Kumul forwards, but they can split up that edge of the ruck area. Slipping over there, Fepulai. And then 10 away from halfway. Back towards midfield again. This is Maki Murray. Maki Murray, 5 metres away from halfway midfield once more. They work back, they switch play back, and then they keep the football alive. Back to Ford again, and Ford holds it up and sends it to Panapa, and Panapa, ball's gone loose, gone to ground, picked up by Ayer. Ayer, long ball across field, picks up Wilshire. Wilshire's got Menzi Yere outside him. Yere goes with him. Wilshire takes on the defence, though, and takes the tackle as well. 37 metres away from the Cook Islands line. Menzi Yere moves to dummy half, goes back infield, holds the ball in 2 hands, gets away from one, steps around another, tries to slip through a half gap, closed on him, and they claim him on the 30-metre line. From dummy half, Aston picks up another 5-10 metres, easily, quickly, out the back door, he sends it to Pora, Pora onto Yere, Yere onto Wilshire, Wilshire back to Yere again, Yere trying to barge his way over, and does he score? Was he held? Referee's on the spot, touch judge is on the spot, wait for it, fair try, Menzi Yere.
As we can see, Jay Aston, he really started this playoff with a nice little scurry out of dummy half, an offload to Rodney Pora, Pora off to Menzi Yere, and a nice little wrap around here with John Wilshire. Gives Yere a bit more space. He was one-on-one with Peru and Menzi Yere in the end. Too much power. And because he wasn't claimed, he could advance that ball forward, and that's a definite 4-pointer.
But I tell you what, a big impact down the center of the paddock with the ball distribution. Jay Aston and Charlie Wabo, what a great combination. And it's just a privilege to have them both in the pack for Papua New Guinea.
Short kick-off by the Cook Islands, and they've tapped it back. It's gone the 10, so that's fair enough. They managed to end up in the football as well. They've worked it across now to Ben Veo. He sends it on as they try to turn some kind of attacking raid on here. They work it up towards the Kumul 30.
Hold!
So the referee calls held.
One.
Quick play the ball, and they try to go down the short side through Peru, and Peru going through to 24 meters away from the Kumul line.
Hold!
Back infield again. Arona. And Arona, 18 meters away rather from the Kumul's line now. In midfield once more. They work it across now to Ford. Ford, one dummy, one cutout ball, brings in Tikinau. Tikinau, long ball out wide onto Lulia. Lulia coming back infield to safer territory and manages to stay in the field of play 4 meters away from the Kumul line. He'll play the football back quickly again as they try to barge their way over through Keith Lulia. And he's held up as well as the Kumul's defense still manages to hold on the far side across to Ford. Ford had the ball ripped from him. 6 to go is the call. Ford didn't see it, but the cross kick has come in and they've jumped up and the Cook Islands have come down with the football. This will be a try. This will be a try to the Cooks. Fair try. So the Cooks have scored a consolation try here in a great kick from Ford, John Ford, who managed to regather and regroup after he had the football knocked out from him. It was actually 6 to go. He didn't notice, but he put the kick in, which turned out to be a great kick. 42 points to 14. PNG Kumuls over the Cook Islands in this Pacific Cup final for 2009. As the Kumuls get play underway again. The Cooks run it back up to their 10. Kumuls are there in one line.
Hold! Go.
Led by Aston. And again Aston was involved in that tackle with assistance from Tyson Martin. There's a mistake by the Cook Islands, and the referee's called that up for a scrum. 10 meters up from the Cook Islands line.
But they really have been the worst enemy with some terrible handling errors here. First half all the way through to the latter part of the second half. And the Kumuls, with only a couple of minutes remaining in this game, maybe another try from the home team.
That's right, Happy. 15,000 crowd here through the gates today at the Lloyd Robson Oval. 15,000 baying for one more try.
Out.
There's another anticlimax in this game, Marky.
So the referee opting for another scrum.
Form up. Out 3. Form up. Get your head in this time, boys. Get your head in this time. Nice and steady. Wait, mate. Wait. Everyone get their heads in.
This time the way of the Cook Islanders with Charlie Wildwood knocking it on at the back.
Out.
Yep. Complacency creeping in from the Kumuls.
Let him up.
And the Cooks with the football now inside their red zone again. And they work it back towards midfield once more as Panapa takes it up and is still 17-18 away from his own line in their red zone. So with the job ahead of them once more, Ben Vale tried to slip one out the back door that's gone to ground. The Kumuls have picked it up. Play on is the call. Keith Peters ends up with the football as they wrap him up ball and all. And 26 out from the Cook's try line is where the Kumuls restart and start to regather again. George Money going forward, and Money up towards the 20-meter mark. And he's put down 20 meters away from the Cook Islands line. Aston holds the football in two hands. One dummy, two dummies, then went himself. They didn't fall for it. They put him on his back, 12 meters away. Wabo now, back across field to Peters. And, well, that's the complacency we were talking about. Peters as well has knocked his football on. That's his first mistake of the day. And all creeping in the later stages of this game.
Yeah, it's been a comedy of errors from both teams in the last, say, 5 to 10 minutes of this game. Let's hope that we can get a try for this packed stadium. Doesn't matter really which team scores it. I'm sure they'll all appreciate the good rugby league.
The Cook Islands practice should be very proud of today. Big Ben Vaya has really put his heart on the line too. He's just been a tireless workhorse, and of course Sam Brunton.
So Ticker now struggling with the defense. Now he manages to play the football. There's a half chance there. Ticker was trailing through Maki Mare, but in the end, he held on to the football as they work it back towards
Let him up.
their right-hand attacking flank. The Cooks back towards midfield again as the full-time hooter goes in the background. The Cooks are not finished yet, though. They keep the football alive. They've heard the hooter as they send it out wide now to Lulia, and then in the end, Lulia from Keith Lulia to Lulia, and it went straight over the far side touchline. So unfortunately for the Cooks, that's the way it's ended up for them today. And the final scoreline, the PNG Kumals 42, defeating the Cook Islands 40 points in the final of Pacific Cup 2009.
Congratulations to Papua New Guinea, who booked their place alongside New Zealand, the Kangaroos and England in next year's Four Nations tournament. And you can see who makes the final of this season's Four Nations live on Sky Sports.